Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about discipline. We hear this word being thrown around all the time, but why is this necessary to live a mentally strong and stable and healthy life? Okay, so we are attracted to these people who rise above their limitations, who persevere through suffering. And well, it can come out in an unhealthy way. We can go, well, it was just given to them. They were born with it. It was just their destiny. But it's like, well, they had to get up at 5 a.m. way back when, before they were well known, before they had any notoriety, before they wrote that first book, before they got their first six-pack. They had to get up lazy, unhealthy, fat, and they had to drag themselves to the gym, or they had to give up the things that they love the most in order to get to where they are. So you're just seeing this outer onion, and a lot of the time I have to say that in my videos. You're seeing this outer onion of Brad, but I used to suffer from health anxiety. I couldn't even talk to the barista behind the Starbucks counter. That's how much social anxiety I had. I couldn't even walk a block from my house because I was suffering from agoraphobia. Right? That was when I was just alone. I was just in the depths of my shadow and in chaos. But we see these people all the time. And I remember in elementary school, I was watching a Terry Fox video in class. It was about 7th grade. And I remember being resonated and connecting to Terry Fox. And I remember seeing him with that one leg and that artificial leg running across Canada. And I was like, something inside of me stirred up this fire, because I grew up in a bubble of comfort and abundance and in a wealthy home. And there was no adversity. And so his adversity and him triumphing like through all of that really hit me here. So I went home later that day and I ran around the block imitating him. And I wanted to like, there was something about that suffering that really connected with me. I recommend my podcast episode 219, talking about Buddha's story, and he lived a similar life. Like, he grew up wealthy, but the suffering of other people and transcending that suffering, it really connected to him. So I talk about that story in that episode. But leave your comments below. Who resonates with you? Who is that model that you can't help but they're on your mind? How much adversity they pushed through and where they got to and how much they overcame. Who is that person for you? Now, my health anxiety identity, I was dependent, I was weak, and I had no trust in my body whatsoever. And so what I had to do was I had to switch my actions around, because your actions are way more sophisticated than your representation, right? You can't think your way out of that hole you're in. You have to start doing, and then your mind later adjusts the more you start to act out the person that you want to be. So build on that opposite foundation. Just think of it like opposite day. That's how I thought of it. I was like, okay, well, everything right now in my life is not working for me. Should I just do the opposite? Like, I go over to my friend's house to smoke weed and like drink or whatever. Okay, what if I sacrifice that? Now there's a big gap in my day. Okay, what do I replace that with? Right? And that's the critical thing. It's like then I started to read and meditate and like go to the library. And at first I would feel like maybe you should go back to your old ways, but I was determined to get out of the suffering, so I just stuck with these new disciplines. And so you see the world through what you continuously practice. Okay? Because if you continuously practice the things that you're doing now, but you're suffering, well, what makes you think that things are going to change? So many people sit around and go, things will just change. When it's the right time, it's the right time. But I thought that way. And there was no right time. I was suffering. It actually got worse, my suffering. So there is no right time. The time is now. You have to push through the feelings and the thoughts of maybe not today. I should just go sit down, relax, have a beer, take it easy. Don't think like that. You know, those words that people say, and even your voice starts to repeat. Because the normal nowadays, I'll tell you something, the normal today is, well, relax, take it easy. You do too much. And hey, I mean, that's just only going to limit you. If I was in that bubble, I wouldn't have got to where I am now if I stayed there. So discipline helps you build standards for yourself. Okay? So the standards of your friends, they might not be that great. To you, they might meet you. That's why you're hanging around them, right? Their standards are your standards. But what if you were subjecting yourself to somebody whose standards were up here? It's like, oh my God, like I have more to learn. I have much more to do with myself. And so this understanding of standards means that you have to sacrifice things. And the idea of sacrifice is really important, because if the sacrifice is sufficient enough, then the quality of your life in the future will be better. It will enhance. And so, like, I sacrifice certain junk foods now because I know the Brad tomorrow is going to greatly benefit. He's going to feel great. He's going to feel awake, energized, healthy. He's going to look good. And so you do not want to do these sacrifices. That's the thing about discipline. But when you do these and you sacrifice certain things for the future, you bypass this voice that says, well, maybe you should take it easy. Don't do it. It's painful. It's tough. Go back to what's familiar. And so you learn to bypass that voice. And then you build a reflex to bypass this voice. And that reflex will come in handy later that day, because life is always going to throw you a curveball. The rug will be pulled out from under you eventually. But if you've been practicing to live in that uncomfortable feeling, then when the challenges of life comes your way, it won't seem like a great mountain to climb. You are more likely going to handle the challenge, because we all have a reservoir of emotion, right? So when I was suffering from anxiety, I was dependent, weak, and reliant on all of these people around me and substances to act like a crutch, to numb and soothe and distract me. But my reservoir of emotion was overflowing. And then whenever a drop of novelty throughout the day came up, the water would overflow, right? Because there's just so much baggage I was carrying around. But because I released all of that baggage, I was able to afford any novelty, because I knew, okay, you know what? I can handle it. I have the mindfulness or the resources within me and the trust within me to overcome that adversity. Discipline is about confronting the truth, okay? So when you do something, when you start something, you're going to feel bad at it, and you will be bad at it. That's the thing. So if you're learning to build things out of wood, like a carpenter, well, you're going to start off bad. You're going to get the measurements wrong. The corners are not going to line up. You're not going to even operate the screw, the drill properly. I don't even know the name. You're not even going to operate that properly. You're going to stumble forward. You're going to learn as you go. But that's where truth plays itself out and develops, is where you make one cabinet and it's like, it's okay. But by the time you make your 12th cabinet, it looks more precise. It looks more sturdy. And that's the thing about truth, is that when you go to a woodsman and you say, well, can you build me a table? And they build you something that's precise. It's level. It's sturdy. You know it's going to last a long time. It's built with truth, right? And if someone comes to you with a table, it's wobbly, then you're like, well, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, right? This is not going to last a long time. The quality is not there. And that's the thing about discipline, is that the quality of the thing that you decide to take on, meditation or journaling or writing or speaking or interacting with other people, or whether it's something little like eye contact, or whether you're building upon your competence in confronting fears, whatever it is, right? Building a business, what you have to do is to start off from square one. You're going to be bad at it, but you're building this truth that will develop. And by 1 year into this discipline, well, what will happen? Well, you will be more competent, that's for sure. The thing that you're grinding, that you're pursuing, will develop and get better. And then the quality of your life in the future will get better. So the more you tackle a goal, the more precise it becomes. You sharpen the edges. And you actually get better. So say you want to improve yourself physically. Okay, so you run 1 mile. And then you show yourself, hey, I can run 1 mile. I didn't even know I could run 1 mile. And then you run 2 miles. And then you're like, I can run 2 miles. Maybe I can do more. And then each time you get to the goal, you get the dopamine hit. It's like, oh yeah, I can do much more than I thought. I reached my target. Let's see if I can raise the bar a little bit higher. And then soon enough, you're running 10 miles. And then at 10 miles, you go, I never thought I could do this and feel this good. Maybe I can push myself. So 10 miles becomes your new normal. And then you keep pushing your boundaries little by little. And that's the thing about discipline, is that I love this metaphor in this book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. He says that discipline is like a cable. It's made up of hundreds of tiny wires. But the reason the cable is strong is that each wire serves its purpose, right? So I started to build on this cable that is my foundation. Meditation, journaling, sacrificing YouTube, sugar, sacrificing complex carbohydrates, and then sacrificing negative friends, each one built upon this strong foundation. And here I am today, the outer onion of the person I've been building for about 5-6 years now. And so we are renting this body, because when we're dead, they're going to see me and like, there's Brad's flesh, but he's not here anymore. Okay, who's not here anymore? Well, his consciousness, but here's his body lying on this table. And well, we're renting this suit, and it's like a motel room. So we're renting this motel room. How are you going to treat the motel room? Well, it's not, I don't own this place, so I'm going to treat it like crap. I'm going to throw my food everywhere. It's going to get dusty. It's going to be a mess, right? But you walk in there and you go, oh my God, this is just chaos. So just because you're renting it, why would you not treat it with the utmost respect, right? The quality of your surroundings and what you pay attention to is really the quality of your mind, the quality of how you are in the world and your standards. That's the thing. It's your standards. So I treat this motel room, yeah, I'm renting it, but you know what? I'm going to take care of it as much as I can. I'm going to make the right sacrifices so that the room of my skin suit, motel room, garden, whatever you want to call it, is properly maintained, and I can enjoy life on a different level because of this maintenance. I can be disciplined throughout the day, But because I'm so disciplined, I feel better. I feel really good. And so when I watch a movie, the quality of the movie is like way more intense and meaningful to me. If I was watching a movie all day long, well, you just get bored, you get irritated. The movie, you kind of like it becomes this numbing thing rather than something of high quality. And that's where I'm going to leave you today on this video. Thank you so much for being here with me. Leave your comments below of your mentors and what you think of this video. Rise above anxiety. I will see you next time. Take care. Make sure to leave your comments below. Subscribe so that you'll be the first to know whenever I release a new video. And rise above anxiety. I'll see you next time.